oh, take them out of the school. But some of the children in school didn't even know what was going on, because I said to one of my young people, I said, did you see any dogs around your school? Did you see anything happen? They said, no, but when we came out, we saw a whole bunch of police cars. Or when we went to school the next day, there were a whole bunch of policemen out there with dogs. So the students didn't even know, some of them, what was going on. But the parents and the officiators knew what was going on. So for the person who was speaking, the parent that was speaking, I would say definitely check with your children's school, check with your relatives' schools, etc., to ask them to implement that program.
Wow. Thank you so much, Gina, for your call, as well as our guest, Dr. Douglas. You have been great to us. We thank you so much for your extremely informative information. You've helped me, and I'm sure that you've helped our audience as well. We certainly plan to bring you back on the show to explore mental health challenges in greater detail. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us, and we look forward to your return. Let's go to a break.
You.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. We're going to go
Thanks,
to
Dr.
break.
Douglas.
We're going to go to a break, and when we return, we're going to discuss the preparations for active shooter incidents. And how do you prepare your child or your college-bound student for an active shooter or other dangers? Listen, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Straight No Chaser, the only show to quench your talk radio thirst.
Anyone else?
My name is David, and in 8 years, I'll be an alcoholic.
Hi, David.
I'll start drinking in middle school, just at parties. But my parents won't start talking to me about it till high school. And by then, I'll already be in some trouble.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults.
The thing is, my parents won't even see it coming.
So start talking.
Who's next?
Before they start drinking.
I just remembered it's election day. Are you going to vote?
I don't know. I don't think I'll have time today.
Millions of eligible voters in America never make it to the polls or even register to vote. When you don't vote, you're letting other people make decisions for you and pick the things your taxes will pay for. Voting is more than a civic duty. It gives you a voice about the priorities and the future of your community and our nation. Voting gives you a seat at the table.
Started at a party, everyone was there. She had a couple pills on a little dare, but now she's missing class and she's dropping her pom-poms. Nobody knows where she is, not even her mom. Everybody thought she was the all-American girl. So there goes the books, it's all about the score. There goes the doggy, life is such a bore. There goes the family, she's got a new friend. There goes the looks, this is the end. I guess she really was the all-American girl.
Pick up heroin and you'll throw away everything you love. Share your stories on Instagram with #heroin.
You don't like watered down issues? Let us serve you the hard stuff. So come on, let's get back to Pastor C, MBZ, and the Chief.
Back from break, and let's continue our discussion about preparing your child or college-bound student about the realities of an active shooter or other dangerous situations. Chief, I'm going to ask for your expertise on this one. This has been a great discussion tonight. Students have enough to worry about in school, or to not worry about being bullied, beaten, or shot. It's up to us to prepare our children, college students, and loved ones about this reality. Who would have thought that someone could massacre innocent elementary school children or gun down Bible study scholars? Now it is our time to prepare and, unfortunately, when needed, to react. And so, Chief, can you dive into that a little more?
Certainly, Pastor C. You know, preparation is probably the biggest thing with all of these incidents. And you never know when they're going to happen. You never know who's going through what. And you just have to really try to anticipate as many things as you possibly can as you are looking at preparing your child, but most importantly, preparing yourself for that possibility. And so police departments and school systems and universities all over the country are doing things to sort of get ready for these eventualities. But as I said, you can never be fully prepared for what may occur. I know that everyone from parents to trustees to school board members to first grade science teachers are paying attention to every incident that occurs and trying to figure out what can we learn from it and what could have been done to prevent it. I know that many agencies, for example, police agencies, they've got the hard stuff down packed. When an incident occurs, police departments from every jurisdiction in that state or in that city, they're coming. They're coming fast, they're coming deep, they're coming well armed. They're going to go right into that facility. They're going to try to identify the bad guy or bad guys, and they're going to eliminate that threat as quickly as possible. As they come into the building, they're not going to be very nice. They're going to be very forceful, very frank, very curt, because at the end of the day, they want to stop any further carnage or prevent some carnage. For example, may have been someone spotted with a weapon that someone thinks is going to do harm. So from the law enforcement perspective, they've got it down cold. Now, in the last 4, 5, 6 years, employers, school systems, and others have begun developing their own response plans in conjunction with law enforcement. So now you'll see, for example, an IBM or a mall, they're teaching their employees how to respond for various types of incidents and what the warning signs are and those types of things. And so, and I say all that because that's what's happening on the level of the institution. That's what's happening on the level of the law enforcement agency. But as you asked, Pastor C, what can you do as a dad, or what can my wife do as a mom or as a guardian to prepare our scholars for what may happen? The first thing that I always emphasize, and I can't take credit for this. This is a law enforcement education-wide philosophy. But you have to have an age-appropriate discussion with whoever your child or scholar or guardian is. So if it's a 5-year-old, you have to get down to a 5-year-old's level and get them to understand if somebody bad comes in the school and they are trying to hurt people, here's what you should do. You have to start at that basic level. Now, of course, as you move into the mature students, then you start to pass along information such as pay attention to the exits. Know where the exits are. Pay attention to what people are doing. If it doesn't feel right and it doesn't seem right, most of the time it's not right. You know, I love when people come up with, a 50 bullet point thing on what to look for. At the end of the day, Pastor C, we all have a gut. And our gut can tell you when something ain't right. Excuse my grammar.
Right.
So if it ain't right, it don't feel right, it ain't right. So that was my grammar deviation for the day. Also, and this is something that I have to emphasize to some folks in my home, and they'll understand this, keep the cell phone charged. Keep the cell phone charged. This is one thing that is so important because, as you've seen even in the movies and on television, when all hell is breaking loose, that's when your phone goes to that red bar and you can't get out any information. Right. So try to keep your cell phone charged, and this is for all ages. So I know everyone has a cell phone from 8 to 80. Pay attention to your environment. You should know your environment. So if you see someone standing outside and it's July in a long coat, that should make the bells and whistles go off and say, that might be something we want to respond to, or call. But also know who to call and have signals if necessary. Know a place where you can run to if something happens. So, for example, if your child is at UCLA or University of Maryland, have them to sort of have a plan in their mind. So if something breaks out while I'm in chemistry class, I know where the closest exit is. I know that I'm 2 floors up. I can jump out the window if I need to, but just tell them to have a very simple plan, not anything complicated. You know, I've got to dive out of the window at a 45.5 degree angle, then I'm going to run backwards 15 steps. No, just something very simple. If I hear gunfire, I'm jumping out of this window and running along the building. Or all I have to do is run right, left, and I'm at the exit door. Something very simple. Also, have a plan with your family members, and this is for college kids, so that if something breaks out, you know that I will be at this location if possible. Or if I can only make one phone call, or I can text, this is who I'm going to call, or this is what I'm going to text. I'm just going to text you a thumbs up. That means I'm good. So now your child's not trying to type you a text message saying, Mom, everything is good. I had to run. I lost my shoe. I'm sweating. I'm scared. No, just type a thumbs up. At least you know that your child is safe. And this is an easier said than done. Remind your child, your young person, your student, your husband, your wife, try to stay as calm as possible. Deep breaths, whatever you have to do. Now, again, this is an easier said than done, but when you can control your breathing and you control your emotions, you make better decisions under pressure. So that's something that you also have to plan. And also go over your plan with your relatives or your student or whoever it is that you're concerned with. Just so, again, talk it through. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go. This is where you can reach me. So, again, when all hell breaks loose, you're not standing there with the dog in the headlight look.
Right.
Okay. But also, you have to have that straight, no chaser conversation about be prepared to fight if you have to. In all of the Homeland Security training, active shooter training, at the end of that, all of these wonderful tips that the law enforcement officials give, they always tell people there may be a situation where you have no other option but to fight. And so that means even if you have to pick up a television, an ink pen, a cell phone, a chair, whatever you have in your hand, that might be that weapon that you're going to have to use against this person or persons that are coming in to harm you. And so you have to make that point very clear. It may be that bad of a situation where you are going to have to fight.
But
period.
If you don't have to, don't try to be a hero either.
Well, absolutely. But I'm talking about, Ambezi, there may be a point where this guy is coming in, you're hiding in the bathroom, you're hiding in stall number 3, you hear the guy walk in, you heard the clip drop the floor. You've got to go hands on. And that means fight with everything you got. Scratching eyes, kicking groins, screaming, whatever you have to do to get out of there, you must become a one-man or one-woman wrecking machine in order to get out of that situation. It's just, it's just that simple. I mean, again, as we said, Who would have thought that